there. I'm going to take it across like this. Ideally, yeah, I'm keeping it now. Ideally, I have to connect it to the console then and there so that we avoid the kinking, but the distance is more here. I kept the first electrode. Anyone wants to place an electrode can volunteer. We just keep placing one after the other. You make sure the alignment is this way, right? And you press by the side so that some amount of space leaks through the middle. I can show you one place. See the limits. You can see the leak from I'm still placing it. It's stuck now. Right? Can you do the third one? And say let's do we got these 2 points, right? Now the next electrode where we want to put this, we put the A1 and A2. You want to try, or you want to put it on the scallop surface? On the scallop surface. So the point of intersection of this 32 is the entire distance. So 16 is the start point. So where does the 16 come to? If I pick it up from here, the 16 is here. Okay? So I'm marking this point. I'm going to take the intertriangle distance and I'm using the centimeter again. So the midpoint again is over here. So this becomes the central, and that's what the question C is it. So this C is it will be clean now. So you take a cotton and spread it. Realistically, they'll be like extremely scanty usage they'll do because they'll conserve the lab consumables and still they'll get it done very well. You pick up an electrode, any color for that matter. If you want, you take black also. See, this is an example of norms. All this is norm. Okay. You can actually rub it like this so that it's exactly only in the place where it was. Your point is here. And let the orientation of the thing, it's going to go to the console which is behind. So again, I'm keeping the black faced like this. Press it. Is it sticking? Okay, you slightly changed it now. Yeah, okay. Next electrode is measure. Yeah, 10% is not the point. From there, another 20%. So that will be the deficit. So approximately 30%. Yeah, 10%. You're right. 10% is FP is it. So we are putting F is it, so 30%. You have to turn the centimeters. 30%. So this how much is 30%? We are putting it 3.2, 6.4, 9.6.
9.6.
From here. That is 9, another 0.6, somewhere approximately. Yeah.
9.6.
In the midline. Exactly in continuation. Take a piece of yeah. Now this skin preparation with cotton, as I told before, it's little different from how you prepare a place for a septic procedure. So here you can be like just rub it little rough and quick repeated fast rubs. That's what we need. Now you take the paste. After you take it, you show now this is the typical way how it should not be taken. because it's a lot of paste. So once it is taken, you give a rub like this, you get it flattened out like this. This much is good. Yeah. And you press it, so things come out through the board, yeah, and then you spread it across. No, not that, that way, yeah. Automatically it stays. Yes, and little bit I am adjusting the board so that we get the effect. Now if I have to do the PZ, the PZ would be another CZ say 6.4, so it will be here approximately. Okay, so for now I am not getting the PZ because we know this is the line it comes. So what about the F3, F4, F7 and all those lines? So you take a 10% from the tragus. So here we got the tragus, you take 10%. And then you connect a line that is going to connect all the points. So again, I'm just using this diagram where if you see the 1020 is typical diagram I have. So when from the point of union, if you go 10% up, you get a OZ, okay? And here you get a FZ. So if you take 10% from the tragus, this FZ, 10% from tragus, OZ, all of them will connect to form a circle. Then that circle is further divided into 10, 20, like that. That is when you get points of F7, F8, and T7, T8, all those points can be obtained, then the midpoints can be obtained, right? So let us try to put those points first. So in an attempt to that, 10% from here would be T3, we put a T3, yeah. So this is the tragus, 10% is 3.2.
32 was in tragus.
10% is 3.2.
So here the bed part can see. Yeah, I cleaned it. You can just pick and from here. Ideally, it should be red or blue. Just pull it up gently and take some paste. Yeah. It's the exact opposite. Yeah. Just 1 second. The other end there is a hole actually. When I press this opposing to the scalp surface, some amount of the space leaks out to the posterior side. That I just use it as an adhesive and stabilize the posterior. That's what I do. You need not use a micropore or anything, it's just stable enough. Yeah. Yeah. And press it. Yeah, is the paste coming out? Not that, okay. You want to do? Yeah, please. You clean it? Like when you're cleaning, just hold it tight, just a tight rub. So yet again, the hollow end and the other end, we can see the hole also in between, right? I'll pass one electrode so that you can all take a closer look. Yeah. Yeah, almost. You posted in some lab. The next one is, now I got these two the one thing I'm yet to put is OZ. So I'm going to take Indian, which is here, and 10% from there is another 3.2. Which is approximately here. Yeah, please. When you're doing, just try to move all the things so that you directly face it on. And the orientation is down facing. Okay, press it. Yeah. And whatever is excess, just bring it. Yeah, got it. So now I can ask our volunteer to gently stand up. Gently. And थोड़ा सा इधर I mean पूरा घुमा सकते हैं. Yeah. You can see all the electrodes placed.
Yes.
Whatever so far, right? And now some of them are little unplaced. I mean not placed clearly. Like for example, this green electrode here, you can see it is slightly moving. Now this is definitely going to cause a high impedance. I need to watch out when I am doing it. So I got this is a very crude way of placing. You can place it even more better. But at least I got the points that I need to do the circle. See, the red one has already moved, the frontal has moved. I'll fix all of them. Up back. So here, what we actually put was a FP1. Just he got up and you see how much the electrode has moved. This is also a classical demo of what happens when your patient tries to move or fiddle around and all that. So I'm expecting the FZ to be here, and if it moves around the T3, T4 over here, okay, and it comes around. So approximately I get a full circumference of 52 centimeters. Now my calculation is going to be based on this 52. So I'm going to divide it further into 10, 10, 10 and 10. So it's going to be from here 5.2, 5.2, 5.2, 5.2. I start getting the other points. And once I get these points, for example, if I put a FP2 to 5.2, I get the F8. Then I have an FZ and F8, right? The midpoint between the FZ and F8 becomes my F4. And similarly, this side becomes F3. So I derived an F3 and F4. Am I making sense?
Yes, sir.
Should I repeat one more time? Yeah. So first I had the nasion and the inion. I made a distance. I found it to be 32 centimeters is the diameter. Okay. Then I had the intertragal distance, that is another 32 centimeter. Okay. Then based on this, 10% above, I had my FPZ. Another 20% I got the FPZ. Okay. Then another 20% CZ. Another 20% PZ. Similarly, I have the points A1, A2 behind in the mastoid process. But 10% above, I got a T3 and a T4. Now, once I start connecting T3, T4, OZ, FZ, and all of them by a circle, I get 52 centimeters. Then I divide them into 10%. From FPZ, I got 10%. This point in the frontal plane is called F8. Now I've got an F8, I got an FZ. So in between the F8 and FZ, in the midpoint, I got my F4.
Four even numbers.
Similarly, I get a F3 here. Okay. Similarly, I get a C3, C4. I get a P3, P4. The parasagittal lines are formed as a derivation, as a midpoint between these two. Now, for me it's like a revision back because I'm not placing these electrodes for quite a long time. But I used to write a report saying that the abnormal activity is perceived on the parasagittal channels on either side. When I make that comment, I used to observe abnormal epileptiform activity predominantly in the C3, P3 and C4, P4 and F3, C3 and F4, C4. Now you can see that this chain which is running parasagittally, there only the abnormal activities are happening. Sometimes it can be confined to one domain, so it helps me to explain which channel is involved and what is happening. So I get a clear picture. And this is also giving a picture that suppose I am having a channel like F8 T4. Then I have a channel involving T4 and some O2, which means these are bipolar channels interconnected between the electrodes on one half of the hemisphere. Similarly, I can have bipolar channel connected on the other half of the hemisphere. Now, based on these kind of channels alone, I can create a stack of montage that becomes Mont1 in your, for example, in your software. Then another different pattern, which is interconnection between, that becomes Mont2. Then you have a montage for children, like the various patterns over there. But instead of it, I want all unipolar recordings. That is, I take C4 with A2, F8 with A2, then P4 with A2. All of them are taken to one referential electrode which is present in the mastoid, and I am taking the reading where I am taking individual recording of each of these electrodes. Because A1 and A2 you can technically consider them to be 0 because they are the reference point, and that's why they are in the mastoid. Then it becomes a referential montage. Now, why do we need these many montages? Sometimes I am looking at a moving migratory pattern of an epileptiform activity. From this channel, it looks this way. I will want to go for another channel. It is like you have someone who is broken into your house, and you have 4 CCTV cameras installed. You want to use all the CCTV cameras to look at the different angle of who has intruded into your house, right? The same way, these montages help you to look at the same waveform from different point of view, and then you can exactly have an idea of where could be the topographical placement of this particular seizure activity. So you can comment whether it is migrating, it is static, it is on the parasagittal, or it is on the central, or as we say, there is most common referral for us is this Rolandic seizure. Now these are seizures which are present in the adolescent age, from the pediatric age, but they automatically disappear in the adolescent age. That does not require major management. It does not reappear in the person's life after adolescent age. Now that is commonly present in the centrotemporal channels. So it is benign epileptiform centrotemporal seizure activity, BETS, which is seen in Rolandic. When we talk about centrotemporal, where are we looking at when you're placing electrode? We have the CZ here. So C3 and C4 is here. Then the temporal T3 is here. So it's a centrotemporal epileptiform activity that we are looking at Rolandic seizure. So for you to understand what is happening in the channel, you need to always have a picture of 2020 in your mind. So I used to be, even now I am very forgetful. I have the 1020 in my phone. So in the desktop, in my office desktop, I have a 1020 picture. So every time I am doing an EEG analysis, I keep it open. Every time I look at the channel, I minimize, I look at it. If you are like me, you can use that. You can take a printout, put it in your lab also. Our lab has a big 1020 blower, right? Because without picturizing a 1020 in the mind, you cannot give a very good interpretation. Right? Especially when C3, C4 are coming, you come after some administrative work or some not a good day in the family and all that, then you open your montage. C3, P3 will not make sense. You have to look at the 1020 again and then say, oh, this is parasite. And you have to get back to that. So 1020 is the key, 1020 is very, very important. If you want, I can place all the electrode, or otherwise I can leave it to you to come and practice and place the electrode. I can be there by saying, what's the option?
Anyone want to basically say you want to put the electrodes? If you wish, then you have 10 minutes more, otherwise sir will leave at 5 p.m.
Sir, one question. You talked about the montages.
Yeah.
Sir, while making the diagnosis, the montages are preset, defined sets. Preset,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So based upon that, any abnormality in one particular montages, I can come to conclusion about some
No,
diagnosis.
as I told you, temporally, the event is temporarily stamped, right?
Yeah.
For example, the event took place as 3 minutes 33 seconds.
Yeah.
In all the montages, it's going to be at 3 minutes 33 seconds.
Yeah.
It's just the way you're looking at it, your
Interpreting the
yeah,
results.
Yeah, it
Okay.
changes. It
Okay.
gives more locality of, like for example, it is present in a
Okay, I am
C3
st-
Pidgeon
yeah,
channel.
yeah.
And then you take one C3 in a referential C3A1 also. There also the same event is there.
Yeah.
You can be more conclusive that the event is happening in and around
In
C3.
around this seat area.
Yeah.
Okay, localizing the defect. Okay, okay. Thanks, sir.
So if I have to conclude taking the fairly, what I can do with the machine, which is like